Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the first episode ever of The Take On. See, recently we had Danny Murphy, we had Flex, we got lots of feedback. People really wanted this show to happen, so we got the guys in. And we got my favourite friend who I love to argue with, Mr. West Ham himself, Anton Ferdinand. Now, Danny, you're going to be here every week.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Helping us do the show. I want you to bring your expertise, all right?
I'll do my best. But just before we get started, I've got to just pull out on a game we played. I don't know if he played 6-0 QPR Fulham.
Yeah.
What a day that was. And do you know why it was a day though? It was when Moussa Dembele presented himself to the world.
Wow.
What a player.
Proper.
Baller.
And it was the day that Adel Tarap went home at half time and he was seen at the bus stop.
Yeah, that's true. Was he with someone else?
Was
it Sean Derry as well?
No.
Just Adele?
No, Des was getting a run around by you, I think.
It's funny, when it comes to Moussa Dembele, I wanted him at Arsenal so badly. I remember seeing him at Fulham thinking,
too good for you.
We need a powerhouse. Not then. Then we were still, you know what I mean? The name was still
saying,
strong.
I'm just saying.
Calm down, mate.
You know what was mad? I'll tell you about Moose. He turned up as a left-footed right winger. You know, in Holland, they all play 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Mark Hughes brought him in. He started on the right wing and he played as a 10. He was doing all these brilliant things in a game. Like, you think, you know, when you wrap a ball in someone, you think, whoa, he's got a bit strong. But he wasn't scoring many goals. Martin Yolcombe popped him into midfield, played alongside him. And then all of a sudden, you're like, wow, this fella, he's strong, great footwork, burst past people. And then other players started saying to me, who's he?
Wow.
Who's he? And he went on to be, he was arguably, in that time under Poch, he was probably Tottenham's best player.
He was like the unsung hero because he didn't get the goals and assists.
Yeah.
But
With
what
Wanyama,
he's got, exactly, solid.
But
solid.
people say he could have went to Real Madrid. How did he end up at Tottenham?
Well, a funny story. So he was starting to get courted by different teams, and Liverpool were in. I had a phone call from Liverpool asking me about him. I said, he's top boy, yeah. And there was a clause in his, I think he had a 15 million clause to go. And then United were in. He played against United twice in a short space of time and absolutely ran them ragged at Old Trafford. Yeah. And I was speaking to him on the coach. And I said, like, who else is in? Do you know? Have you spoke to your agent? He went, well, yeah, there's Liverpool, Man U and Tottenham. So I said, look, I don't mean to be biased. Liverpool's the place. Yeah. Said, do you know about the history and all that? And he stopped me dead. And he went, Danny, I'm going to Tottenham. I went, how? Why? I went, what? I said, you wouldn't even go and see Liverpool United. He went, it's not in London, is it?
No.
He said, my missus is happy in London, my family can come and visit and all that. I love London. I'm not leaving London.
Look at Tottenham, location default.
I am not leaving London.
Not far from Houston, King's Cross.
A lot of players like that.
Eurostar.
Get to the clubs quick.
A lot of players are like that, though.
But he was so chilled.
A lot of players.
So chilled. Not even...
Didn't care about the history, what I can win, all the stuff.
But he was one of these guys, quite religious, not a party guy.
Yeah.
Family guy and all that, and liked his mates. He was chill. He, off field, you know, the balance for him was everything. Honestly, he was just,
Wow.
I want to get us into the topics today. Now, you made quite a lot of noise last week, not only on YouTube, on TikTok as well.
I thought it was a good argument.
We had Scholes versus Steven Gerrard, and I don't think the fans appreciated your honesty. I mean, I'm going to ask you guys concerning the Vidic and Virgil van Dijk argument, because we've had Vidic on this week, and obviously you're a Liverpool man. He's done amazing things. But I want to ask you, you know, who do you reckon is better at their peak? Because let's be honest with you, Virgil, he's kind of going downhill right now.
Yeah, I
at
think
their
that's
peak.
fair. Well, I think that's two different arguments. We know when you go down the road of who's been the best player in their career, because Virgil hasn't finished his. Yeah. Virgil at his best was better than Vidic at his best. I mean,
sure.
I believe, yeah. It would have been a harder question. I was more worried that you said Rio and
yeah. There's no
comparison.
That would have been
non-biased, by the way.
There's no comparison.
Another centre half.
Rio's on it. You know, he is what we know that. But we're talking about Vidic. I think Virgil at his best. Most people would say and were saying he was the best in the world at the time for those two seasons, especially best in the world, because he had the speed, reading of the game, physicality. Ping it about, everything. There wasn't a weakness in his game. And his impact on Liverpool was huge. I'm not saying... And he didn't need Rio next to him.
You're saying Virgil was able to do it?
Well, Virg did it alongside Matip and alongside Gomez.
I think Matip's better on the ball than Virg.
Matip's brilliant on the ball.
I think he's better
but
on the ball.
But what I'm saying is, Vidic walked into a scenario where he had one of the best centre-halves in the world, if not the best, next to him. Everyone who plays next to Virgil got better.
But Virgil, to me as well, I see it as when that Liverpool team was in its peak, it's the same how Trent's now exposed because that team ain't the same anymore. We're seeing the deficiencies of Virgil as well. I think that when Virgil was in his peak, it coincided with when Liverpool was in their peak. So optimal protection,
the timing.
optimal Robertson next to you, Matip's doing his thing. That team is on the front foot every time. You know what, Virgil? You don't even have to defend.
You don't see him defend that much.
Do you know what I mean?
But when he did, he never. But when he did, I think
Vidic.
it's chicken and egg, that argument. Because you could argue Liverpool being so good was because he was at it and he was so strong. For every time he got in a position, no one could get by. Remember that ridiculous stat? No one had dribbled past him.
For like
What was it, 18 months?
Now Wan-Bissaka has that.
I think Pepe was the first person to get past him.
Yeah.
And we celebrated it like a goal.
Pepe jeans. Pepe jeans at Arsenal.
Hey, we need to start talking about Pepe G's. We need to start talking about Anthony, mate. Because that's even worse, right? So I don't know why you're laughing.
Anthony's fine, mate.
Anthony's fine.
Anthony's fine.
Are you all right?
Yeah, he's got big goals.
Get out of here, man.
Here's a
100
question.
million.
Bringing it back to serious. Here's a question. If Vidic had gone into United without Rio next to him for the majority of his time, would he have had that same? Because that partnership.
It depends who the partnership was.
Virgil didn't have a partner. You would go made him special. Vidic
But he had a team. He had a team.
Special, yeah.
My argument with it is, listen, when we talk about impact on a team, there's no one that comes close to Virgil.
Yeah.
The impact they had on that team.
When he
At
came.
that time.
When he came,
He
it
elevated
wasn't just him. It wasn't just
And Alisson as well,
Alisson.
innit?
Him and
Yeah.
Alisson.
Yeah.
The impact, when you talk about impact, he's up there. Defensively, 1v1 battles, yeah. But when it comes to the hard knocks of it, Vidic was an absolute joke. And personally, I don't think Vidic gets the credit he deserves for his prowess on the ball.
Yeah, you were saying.
The way that he
was decent.
he was good on the ball. People don't talk about that with JT. People don't talk about how good JT was on the ball.
Yeah.
JT was bow-footed, could spray the ball. Vidic had arguably the hardest ball in the game, which is through the lines, the riskiest ball. As a midfielder, you love that ball. Your defender's playing between the lines, so you can get the ball the other side on the floor.
So you're saying from Vidic to Rooney, for example?
in behind or a Giggsy coming inside and taking it the other side of the midfielders. That's a ball that I don't see Virgil play.
Not enough. Not enough.
I don't see him play it. And
But
The big switch is the one that he does.
yeah, he's got the straight.
switch
He's got
with
the
loads
straight.
of time and space around him. I'm a Premier League player. Danny, you lot are pros. You lot are ex-pros, yeah? I got no one within 15, 20 yards.
The Hollywood ball.
I'll just ping it out there. Just slice it out there. Let me fade it out there at Anfield. Oh, yeah,
I hear
lovely.
you.
Mate, there's no one around you.
By the way, it's a hard ball to play. By the way, it's a hard ball.
Mate, he trains every day. He's Virgil van Dijk.
hard
It's
to
easy
play.
for him. That's
It's
easy
hard.
for him.
Thierry
No
said
pressure.
it. Thierry said
Come
it.
on.
Thierry said it. People speak about a quarterback throwing the ball over somebody's head, pinpoint throw, and people they purr over it.
Yeah.
You don't get that as footballers. Playing that ball with fade into somebody's path on the run, it's a hard ball to play.
He's got nice technique.
And
I'm
he's
not saying he's
brilliant.
not. I'm just saying for him, because he is
I
good,
think-
that's not difficult for
But
him.
I think Klopp,
as soon as he's under
Klopp
pressure-
don't get enough
Nah.
credit for this. Yeah, in my opinion. When you look at Liverpool's team, and I've watched Liverpool's team quite a bit, the movements when certain players are on the ball tells you what they can and can't play.
It does.
So when Virgil's on the ball, you don't see Firmino coming in pockets. You don't see Sadio Mane at the time, and we're talking about that team, coming into the pockets. We don't see that because he don't play it. He don't play them risky balls. But when he's on the ball, people stay high and wide. Because
that's what he's good at.
and
He's
that's
very
what he's good at.
do
So
that.
Very
that's
good
what
at
I
it.
mean.
Do that.
That's what I mean. The patterns of play, you see them when certain players are on the ball. When Matip's on the ball, you see all sorts of movement because he's got that ball.
I think with Vidic, one of the things with him is durability.
Yes.
The amount of games, the amount of years you're in a team where you're winning things means you're doing something right. Mentality. Mentality of, it doesn't matter whether you're playing Bolton away or Barcelona at home, he's there.
And
That was his quality.
And he played against two strikers week in, week out.
Yeah.
Different
as well.
I don't
Different
think
era.
he gets marked down
It's massive.
because his partner was Rio. The other side of his ball, the other side of his game, that maybe goes
weak.
into hiding.
Yeah.
You say it's weak, or you didn't, because Rio
is so
is
strong,
that
mate.
roles. Rio, so
how they complement
the
each
partnership complement each other. So actually, I think we marked down Vidic a little bit for the things that maybe
It's
Rio
hard.
did so well that
Yeah.
Vidic maybe didn't have to do so well.
It's hard to compare because they have got different characteristics. My main thing on it is that Virgil became the best centre half in the world for a good long period in a team that wasn't Man U full of superstars.
But in that era,
didn't
Dan,
have Rio as his
was
partner.
there? But was there in that era? Was there more top centre halves in that era where it would be really difficult for
Yes,
Vidic to be
yes,
cast as that
100%.
versus when Virgil, when we're going,
100%.
who's a good centre half now?
100%.
Who's a good centre half?
Yeah.
When Virgil's prime Virgil, when we're saying 3 years
Vidic
ago,
said the same
who
thing.
Who else was the top?
Well,
Back
you had
when
you
Vidic
had
was playing.
Nestor.
Does he
That's
get?
what I'm
You
saying.
had Cannavaro.
Here's a better one.
You had
Top draw.
top
Here's a
players.
better one.
Ramos up and coming.
Does he get in the top 5 Premier League centre
Yeah, I
halves?
think he.
Who?
Yeah.
Because when I'm going
Go on, then.
Rio, JT, Ledley,
Stam.
Yapstam, there's Vidic,
Would you put Sol in?
It's
Would you put
longevity.
Sol? Would you
Campbell,
put Sol in?
Stam in
there's
there.
Sol Campbell,
Yeah.
there's who else is there?
Company.
Vincent
Company.
Company.
It's a
That's
debate
8.
to
That's
go on
8.
all day.
That's 8 I've mentioned and not mentioned Virgil.
Your
Yeah,
criteria
but
depends on how
but
many
you can't say he
players-
doesn't make
No,
it.
but I'm
then.
saying,
He's up there.
but I'm out of these type of players.
Let-
Who goes into that 5?
Let us know your take, guys. This is called the Take On. We need your takes, and we want to hear if you think someone's had a bad take. All right, but let us know. That's the truth. I want to say congratulations to West Ham's youth team. You guys absolutely smashed Arsenal Football Club yesterday. It was madness, man. Massive shout out to Jack Wilshere for getting us there in the first place.
No, do you know what? I went to the game. I sat in Jack's box actually with his parents and his family. And credit to Jack, he's done a fantastic job in the first year that he's been at the football club. He's got so much to offer. West Ham had players that are probably more around the first team, dealt with the occasion better, even after going a goal down. The way that they just relaxed. They went a goal down, and almost you saw, not even from the coaching, from the sideline, you saw the players going, relax, we've got this, relax. And then all of a sudden,
Well, they knew Arsenal crumble.
what does it go through the club?
Yeah, that's what
This will be hilarious tomorrow if we've won, by the way. This will be hilarious.
I hope you do.
But kid you not, like, credit to Kevin Keane, Mark Phillips, who are the West Ham under-rating coaches. They've done the double. They've won the league and they've won FA Youth Cup. And I had Kevin Keane as a coach from when I was young. I had him throughout my career at other places around the Premier League and other places.
Still there now. Progressing the
And
next
I tell you what, I could see his DNA on that team. You know, and the way that players don't shirk tackles, the way that they're committed, the way that if someone ain't doing it, it don't have to come from him. Players on the pitch tell him, "Oh, you better pull your socks up." I saw that in the West Ham team yesterday.
They had that like pizzazz as well, man. You see the
Oh,
chip
my-
goal,
The chip from 30 yards.
delicacy, bruv.
You get that, what you're talking about, that DNA. You know, you see how a team's play, you think that's what West Ham are about.
100%.
You just hope they've got a pathway for some of the lads to get through. We're not seeing enough.
If
It's so hard, yeah.
If-
so hard to make it.
if what I saw yesterday, I know they've been like that throughout the whole season because I think they've only lost one game in the season. If none of that team make it into the first team, something's gone wrong.
Something's wrong.
Fact. Something's gone on. Oliver Scowls at left back, he's a centre midfielder. He played left back yesterday. He looked like a left back. His mentality. You know what?
I know what you
but
mean.
He looked like a seasoned left back. But he's a midfielder. I watched him in midfield against Ipswich in the FA Youth Cup, and then I watched him at left back yesterday in the final. He was an absolute joke.
Give us one. But give us one. In 2 years, we can look back and go,
He was right.
Orford, the number 4,
Okay.
centre midfield, Deck-esque.
Okay.
He can move. He's good with the
Shout.
ball.
Deck-esque.
Yeah, can move with the ball.
Tech-esque.
Telling you.
a good
And then
Good take.
you got the centre back Regan, good player as well.
Okay.
Regan he scored one of the goals. He scored and got cramp. He scored, got cramp and came off. That was his last
Done, job done,
involvement.
mate.
Why not?
Job done.
It's
In
good.
a nutshell.
It's good to see that you're still connected with the club, man.
Yeah.
Do you know, I was one of them.
Yeah.
You know, my love for not just the club, but seeing young kids in the system like I was, and I know and understand what it takes to become a footballer at that football club. But not just that, we produce a lot of footballers, but a lot of them don't cement themselves in the team. So we produce a lot of footballers for the other clubs. I think when you look at the list of people who actually cemented themselves in the team who came through, the last 3 is Declan, Nobes, and me.
Wow.
So it's like, and that's a long time. I'm retired 5 years now.
Whereas when I was starting out, you were looking at Lamps, Rio, Jermaine,
Defoe,
Carrick.
It was frightening.
Joey,
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was normal then. It was like West Ham always produced these
production
great
line
players.
was there,
Yeah. What do you think about Moyes? Quickly, end of the season. Well, no matter what he does, do you think it's time for a change in terms of not saying he's done a good job? We know that, but in terms of the style, because he won't change his style, will he?
No, he won't. He won't. And I think he's bought players this year, if he's bought them, that don't fit his mould. If you look at his success rate as a manager, firstly, Preston, a robust team. Then he came to Everton, built a robust team. We was talking about it before we came on here. How hard was his team to play against Goodison Park? You know, successful there, got them into Europe. I think, he did. He got them into Europe. Successful. Went to Man United, different set of players.
Yeah, it was a hard one.
Hard one,
Coming in off
100%.
Sir Alex, it's impossible
Hard,
to
but a
answer.
different set of
But he
players.
did sign Fellaini, come on.
Then you go
Tried to get Coleman as well.
then he goes to West Ham. He goes to West Ham. West Ham's success has been built over the last few years. And if you look at West Ham's team compared to his successful Everton team, they mirror each other.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Fellaini, Souček,
Yeah.
you know, Dijk, Antonio, flair players who are grafters on the wings, Bowen, Fornals, Morales, Osman. They mirror them. Now he's buying players that have a bit more flair.
Yeah,
That's
Paqueta
not exactly.
He
Yeah,
needs
that's
the ball more.
crazy.
He needs a
Skamaka needs the ball more.
he needs a coach.
Yeah.
He needs a. You don't need a manager who is about being robust and play. He needs someone who gives him a bit more freedom.
Before we end on the Man United success or not success season, I just want to ask you, if Moyes wins Conference League, whatever it's called,
What, you're turning your nose up at European trophies, eh?
Oh, it's
Well,
not even
it's
a
different though,
trophy,
isn't
is
it?
Come on.
It's
It is
European.
different.
Why?
Anyway,
What does it give you? Wait, what
do you-
does the
do
Conference
you-
League give you?
A trophy.
A trophy.
listen, we're gonna go.
They're not
into this
concerned
in a
with
second.
anything, anything to do with Europe.
Okay.
We're gonna go.
Blessing in disguise.
We're gonna go
It's
into
just
this in a second.
I mean, terrible.
Should he stay as West Ham manager if he wins Conference League and keeps you up?
I would go for a change personally. I think he's taken the club as far as he possibly can. I think he's done a fantastic job.
Who?
Moyes. I think he's
Yeah,
done.
but who would you go for?
I want to see a coach, a
Graham Potter.
Brendan Rodgers, a Graham Potter, someone who can come in and do that. And I think the players, the youth team players that have just done what they've done, deserve to have a manager that brings players through.
Yeah.
That's the DNA of our football club. The 18s have done their job.
But he's
The
under
20
pressure at the moment. He was doing it last year.
With who?
Well, you guys brought in a few players. I remember watching
Flynn Downs, he's a young player, but he's got games under his belt.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I said
but
West Ham
then-
fans want him to play more.
Exactly,
as well.
they want him
and
to play
won't
more,
do
he
it.
don't.
He stays with Souček.
Ashby, right back. We've had problems this year at right back. We sold him to Newcastle. The fans weren't happy about that. We're a team who produce players. I think the A
Johnson
teams.
was coming through, wasn't it? What
the
happened
A-
to him? Is he,
Who?
what's his name? Johnson?
Ben Johnson.
He's been playing a bit.
He's been playing.
Yeah, he's been playing a
He
bit.
came through the academy, didn't
Yeah,
he? Yeah.
that's one. We've got loads.
There should be
We've got
more.
loads.
You need a
There should be
manager.
more.
You need a manager who's going to invest in the youth.
And
But it's
I,
hard because everyone wants success.
Yeah.
of course,
Exactly.
of course. But the likes of Brendan, Potter.
Brendan will bring you on.
So quick one. Out of the two, Brendan or Potter, who are you going for?
I'll take Brendan
Because he's proven.
because he's every person I know who's played for him.
Yeah.
Speak about him as a coach. He improves players.
Got it.
We've got players who ain't at their maximum. Paqueta, Ben Rama,
Yeah.
Fornals, Bowen. If Bowen got coached with what he's got,
Yeah.
I should say got coached better
Yeah.
with what he's got, he's in and around England properly. And everyone I speak to about Brendan says how good he is as a coach. Chris Davis, who's normally his assistant, is a fantastic coach as well.
Okay, so we're going to be moving on to Chelsea because obviously it sounds as if they're going to sign Mauricio Pochettino. We've got Matisse here, big Chelsea fan. He's even in with like official people from the club. So Matisse, can you come in and let us know your thoughts, please? Poch it looks like he's going to be signing as manager of Chelsea Football Club. I spoke to Matisse earlier on. I said, Matisse, how you doing? He goes, yeah, he's doing great because they ain't had a game in a week. So Matt, can you come in and talk to us, please? Are the rumours true? Is Poch signing for Chelsea, yes or no?
Yeah, from what I hear, Joel, it's completely done. It's completely done. You know, when you take a look at the shortlist, it was Vincent Kompany on there. I feel like it was kind of a buffer just to say that we've done our due diligence and we have names, but Pochettino is the outstanding candidate. And I'm quite excited. I think the longer the situation goes on, the more excited I am. I actually started off by defending his credibility to a lot of fans. I was arguing with them because it felt like Pochettino wasn't getting the credit that he deserved in what he'd done for Southampton, what he did for Tottenham, and then obviously winning at PSG, and that was kind of undermined. And I just felt like this is a manager. I don't know why his stocks have kind of fallen away. I remember when he was linked with Manchester United, everybody was kind of saying again they don't want him. He's a bottler. He can't win at Tottenham. And I looked at two serial winners that have come in straight afterwards in Conte and Jose Mourinho, who've actually not had to play at Wembley, have not probably had the restrictions on funds and they haven't been able to win either. So I think he's a really good coach. He's got a track record for developing young players. We see, you know, all of those players that came through at Southampton and then at Tottenham, Dele Alli, Harry Kane, all of these players. So, and you look at where Chelsea are at right now, Todd Bowley's trying to build this under 23 super team. I can't think of many better options on the market right now for people that can develop players right now.
What I would say though is where I think he'd be good for yous is because he's used to being under a regime where he doesn't have any control, being at Tottenham with Levy.
PSG as well.
PSG as well, not having the control, but having players to deal with and having players to work on. That's why I think he's the correct fit for you guys. I think if you do get him, it'll be a huge coup for you in terms of your rebuild. I'll hate to see it, I can't lie. But for you as Chelsea fans, it'll be fantastic in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the only stumbling block is kind of like the fans and whether the fan base will take a liking to him because obviously he's a former Tottenham manager. But I think we just, as a fan base, we have to get over that and just see him for what he is, which is a really, really good coach. And for me, I'm excited to see him because, like you said, he's experienced with working within that structure. And I think right now it's all about that collaborative model that they're trying to build. And you see it with Arteta and Edu, you see it with Pep and Tiki and Edwards and Klopp when he was there as well before he left. You kind of do need to collaborate now. You know, gone are the days where managers kind of just call the shots from top to bottom at a club. There's meetings that have to be had. So I think he's good for that structure. Whether he can take us right to the top, I don't know. Of course, to go and win a league, but for where we are right now, I think he'll bridge a decent gap.
Matisse, you obviously got a lot of players, you know, more than the dressing room can handle, as Thiago Silva told us. but with the players and the type of profile players that you've got already that Todd Bowley decided is the right profile, do you think they can work under Poch, or is he going to want to undo a lot of the additions that Todd Bowley's already made? Because obviously you've got to get rid of a lot, I understand that. But in terms of what he has brought in, is that what you think is aligned with Poch's philosophy, or do you think he's going to want something different?
When I was looking at Poch in the Premier League, it was all about, you know, distance covered, being an attacking team, but everybody had to work for each other. It was a team that worked very hard, even his Southampton team as well. They weren't sleepers, and that's maybe why it didn't translate over to PSG. When I used to see these graphics, and I remember Jamie Carragher tweet of Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar kind of just standing on the halfway line, not tracking back. That's not something that Poch is going to be able to handle. So there will be players that leave that I don't think have the energy to kind of keep up. We know fitness is a big thing for him. He'll be bringing his fitness coach in Perez as well along with him. But when you take a look at the players we brought, you know, Mudryks, Madueke's, Carney from Aston Villa as well. You take a look at, you know, Andre Santos is coming in from Brazil and hopefully in the summer. There's a lot of young players in there. So I think it will fit. I think there's still a few more players that, you know, a few more positions he might be looking at. But the main thing, like you said, is trimming that squad, because we can't have, you know, players sitting outside the change room on their Nintendo DS. We need people in the change room actually listening to the tactics. So we've got too many players, needs to be trimmed. And quicker we manage to get the squad down to something normal. Obviously, we're not going to have European football next season as well, so that's even more reason to trim down the squad.
You never know. You might go on a run.
Do you know what I think it's a really good sign. I was with him in Doha, spent a bit of quality time with him, like good time.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed with his knowledge of not just like the Premier League, worldwide football, his desire to get back in. Yes,
the game.
Yeah, he loves it. He's a proper charismatic, enticing type guy who everybody's going to enjoy working with, I think, from the player's perspective. But from the fans' perspective, I don't think that's a big concern because you know he's going to play on the front foot, dynamic football. And nearly all supporters want that now. Nobody wants to sit and watch Tottenham sit in, do they? No one wants to see Chelsea sit in when you got all those good players. I don't think the Chelsea-Tottenham thing is going to be much of a problem as people are talking about.
I think because he didn't win anything over there as well. So, you know what I mean?
That's what it is, but I think we know fans are fickle. You come in and start doing the business, they're going to love you no matter what, no matter who you was with before. But I've got one question. Do you not think your board, your club as a whole, has missed a trick bringing him in before the end of the season? Like, if anything, he should have been in when Frank came in my opinion, based on the fact that the squad is large, too big. It would have given Poch time to assess who he wants and who he doesn't want, and could actually build a strategic plan going into the summer, ready for the next season.
Yeah, but hold on, James Corden didn't want that.
For me personally, I think when Lampard came in, yes, the season wasn't completely finished. You know, we still had Real Madrid to come. But if I'm looking at it from this perspective, I'm thinking, I actually wouldn't want Poch to come in this situation where the squad is bloated, where we have difficult fixtures coming up, away to Arsenal, away to Manchester City. We have Manchester United, we have Newcastle. We have all of the teams really ahead of us in the table.
You ain't going to get that 40, are you? 40 points.
I think
you're going to stay on 39 to the end.
You know,
we might not get that 40. Maybe we won't need it. But
Chelsea on page 2 is mad.
If you look at the second half of the table, Flex, we're top. So you know, at least we're top of one of the tables. Do you know what I mean?
Page 2 for Chelsea.
Do you know what I heard? Do you know what? Someone showed me a stat yesterday, Matt. They said that if it wasn't for Tuchel's points, Chelsea would be in the relegation zone at the moment.
Yeah, we would. We really would. You know, but and the gap is being trimmed every single day. Crystal Palace and Wolves are catching up, so we need to get some points on the board. But for me, I wouldn't want Poch to come in right now because I think he needs to get off to a strong start. And I get what you're saying in terms of kind of overseeing the players and taking your picks, but I think he can do that from a standoffish position. I think he can do that from sitting in the boxes, not being in the dugout and taking that pressure, taking that fan heat, and trying to implement something when there is too many players in the squad, when there is 35 players in the squad.
Because he's right, because you can't lose the players before you've even got them. Man.
I get that, but sometimes management, you got to get a feel for someone.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Watching from afar, you don't get management. Management is about getting to know the person. You can't get to know the person from afar.
I just think this situation is so mad at the moment. You've got like 40 players. Who the heck are you getting to know?
I get that.
Who are you getting to know?
But there might be a gem there that's not involved in the
But
moment.
also with the control that you're talking about, or lack of, that he's going to have, that was another question I had. I know Poch is not renowned for winning things and being the main guy. You talk about PSG and Spurs. But at Chelsea, is he going to get enough power? Is he going to get enough time? Because obviously Chelsea are that team that aren't scared to pull the trigger on managers, and it looks like Todd Bowley's followed suit from Roman Abramovich in terms of
it's a risk worth taking. It's a risk worth taking.
Is he going to get enough?
It doesn't matter, because if he doesn't, he gets 10, 20 million quid and off he pops.
Yeah. And Chelsea won't care.
Potter's laughing.
Guys,
Potter's laughing.
I want to say thank you, Matisse, for joining us. It's been brilliant. There's a lot going on. Obviously, Arsenal are playing this evening.
No.
Arsenal are playing this evening. I got to catch a train straight to the Etihad. Do you know what I mean?
What's that? Is that as big as
wait, hold on a minute. Let's be clear. What did you call it?
The Etihad.
The Etihad.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I've got to make my way
going out there to help fill it up, are you?
Yeah, 100%. I'm even sitting in the city end as well. It's funny because we're going to be going live, by the way. If you guys are watching this, please make sure you turn on your notifications. We're just going to give the StreamYard link. We might even give the StreamYard link to fans. So you guys can just come on and witness Arsenal.
Do you know what? Although we all think, right, City fly in, Arsenal stumble and they're going to turn them over. Let's try and look at it just from a positive Arsenal perspective for a minute. You've got the left back scenario. Who's going to play against Saka? Because Ake's not there. Laporte not
Ain't
quick
it?
enough.
No one in that whole squad, is it?
The young kid who played Ramos, he got the lad at Sheffield United caused him problems. He's a left winger, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
Who does he play? Does he stay to Kyle Walker? You got Mark Saka because that's an
I think
area.
he could do.
Yeah.
You don't know with him, innit? Like,
But the other thing is this, and you just mentioned it, and I know I said it, Joe, at the Etihad. Is it really a place that you would be going to fearing the electricity?
Not the atmosphere,
not the
but
atmosphere,
just the team.
just
the
pep in the
and-
team.
Whereas if you were Arsenal tonight, going to Anfield at the, when you'd be like,
You're scared.
Agreed.
Even Newcastle have that kind of aura
Absolutely.
now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what though? I think this is a better scenario for Arsenal going into this game. And the reason why I'm saying that is they're now going into a game where they have to win, but they're not expected to.
Yeah.
So psychologically, it's different. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it.
If we win tonight,
Yeah, no.
I'm telling you, man.
but a few weeks ago, before they came to the Olympic Stadium, the Olympic Stadium, yes, they were going into a Man City game where they had to win and were expected to win. And psychologically, for the young players that you've got in that squad, it's different now. Not having that pressure of expected to win. Still have that pressure of had to win.
So you reckon we can?
I think it works in your favour.
Shackle the chains now and just go for it.
But you have to go with it. You got to be controlled. You can't go
Yeah, I
gung ho. Gung ho, they will pepper you.
I don't think Arsenal can even go to the Etihad and with the mindset of, do you know what? Let's just get back to what we've been doing all season. I actually think Arteta needs a clear, distinctive, actual plan for this game because this is a game like no other. This is the biggest.
This is our final.
This is the biggest game Arsenal have played
for a long time.
You're nervous,
since the
isn't
season.
For a long
Since
time.
the season when you won
I'm
it.
enthusiastic.
yeah, but
I'm
I
excited.
think they need an actual plan. How do we stop?
break
the
that
supply
down
line
though.
into-
So let's break it down. Let's
Yeah.
go tactical for a minute. Yeah, Arsenal are full of good footballers. Yeah, they're not going to play long ball. So they might get the right occasion if there's an out ball, but they're going to.
But they'll play. Yeah.
So the only choice really Arteta's got is: do we sit in and soak up,
Can't do that.
or do we go after them and try and score first and risk getting done?
Also,
That's what you do.
There's only two choices.
left back
That's
as
what
well.
you do.
You think of Zinchenko, yeah? So obviously, I think Arteta's actually got an issue here.
Great on the ball.
He'll stay there.
Because
more tonight.
Zinchenko was brought in for this. You've been at City. You know what it takes to win a title. Recently he's been questionable, hasn't he? Yeah.
No, well, defensively.
Where
yeah.
Tierney coming in, you think, does Arteta, which I don't think he will, but the question is, does he go more defensive and say, you know what? Tierney's just more solid. I know that the inversion of Zinchenko into central midfield, that's how Pep plays, but actually...
Put Zinchenko in midfield. You can't put Fabio Vieira there.
Do you know what the crazy
That
thing
don't
is?
work.
Do you know what I think? Because Arteta's so in depth in the way he thinks and he's so into it, I think he could do himself. Do you know what I mean? Where he's overthinking certain things. And obviously he's playing against his teacher, so to speak.
Yeah, he
You know what I mean?
overthinks
So he
what
could
he's going to
overthink,
do.
well,
He
what's
might
he
do
doing?
this, or maybe
He
I
might
should
do
do
this,
that,
I'm going
or-
to do that.
Yeah.
That could be detrimental for you guys, you know.
I think whoever he plays at
I
left
can
back.
see the worry in your face.
No, I'm
He might go
just
Bernardo
I'm
Silva.
looking forward to it, man.
I can see the worry.
Do you know when he
looking
plays
forward
like
to
as a
it.
left wing? Like
No, I meant
tried it.
Arsenal. Whoever Arsenal play at
oh.
left back, I think it's going to. Mara's got a hat trick of the weekend. He's going to play him.
You think?
Right, yeah, so I think whoever he plays at left
Mahrez
back, he
is
just says,
cold.
look, stay, you know. I think the bigger thing for Arsenal is this, and people have said to me, oh, you know, you must be mad, but I know, forget Kivio, he's just come in and he's finding his way, but Holding has struggled last few games. He's not...
Because it's just not Saliba, is
He's
it?
not good enough.
Yeah.
He's not good enough. No, he's not. And he wears a
It's
hairband.
got great hair.
Listen, it's the battle of the Alice bands here. Haaland wears one of them as well.
Yeah, but he scored 948 goals.
I know what you're saying about the airband.
No, forget the error. But he struggled a bit.
Yeah.
Give a penalty away. He's looked a bit. He's not. I mean, would Ramsdale give Saliba the ball to the right instead of trying to go through?
Yeah,
the middle? I saw
exactly.
Ramsdale look and think.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know
You
what
saw
I mean?
it, innit?
It's little things.
I wouldn't want to be.
You know what
I
I
wouldn't
do?
want to be Rob.
Do you know what I'd do? Because big games need big players. I'd play Partey centre half.
Yeah, but you can't do that. if you
Partey
ain't
centre
done it.
half?
You
Yes.
can't do that if you ain't done it.
I am telling you.
Let us know what you think of that take.
Take a risk.
Let us know.
Partey's been moving mad last
to
couple
be
games
fair,
as well.
I was just about to
Where's
say.
he been?
Where's
Where's he been? Better than Casemiro,
Might
Mr.
as well-
Where's he
might as
been?
well been at home with Casemiro, to be
He's
honest with you.
been chilling at Partey's, not doing
Casemiro
nothing,
didn't
mate.
turn up during Brighton
He's
either.
doing
I'll be
nothing.
honest.
Did he turn up during Brighton?
Jack Diddley
Casemiro?
squat, mate.
Dorneo, party hard, as he's been partying hard
Messaged
off
me the other
pitch.
day. He said,
Dorneo, bro.
what do you think of Deneo in the last few games? And I didn't answer. I didn't answer for like 8 hours.
100%.
I replied. I said, If you mean party, yes. Then no, he hasn't been good in the last few days.
Doneo, he's been playing like Doneo, bro. He might been partying hard.
It's not that bad an idea, no?
Nah,
he can't play centre
You
half.
can't. Not
In this
if
game,
you've never
I'm
done
not
it
sure.
before.
Not in
Too
this
risky,
game.
mate.
Yeah.
In this game, I'm not
Because
sure.
and Jorginho in this, I know he's a big character.
But he didn't. But then you
But he
never-
don't. He
play
don't give
Jorginho
no
then.
party.
But you know
Play
what?
Jorginho.
You never know. You never
Not
know.
centre-back.
Because
Yeah.
like we're talking about Arteta following Pep. Pep done it with Yaya in the Champions League final.
Let
Yeah,
me
but
just
Pep
give you
can do
some.
that. He
Let me
played
just
Bernardo Silva left back a few games ago as well.
Joe, just bear with me. This is one of the biggest games in Arsenal season so far. Yeah, Jorginho's played in massive Champions League finals,
Yeah.
played in European finals. He's played in big games for Chelsea for seasons. Right, he's got that lovely mentality. I'll play the same no matter what the occasion. Now I know he hasn't got legs like
That's the
Partey,
problem.
Yeah.
but he's somebody who you can rely on to get on the ball. And if Partey hasn't been playing that well in there anyway, try him at the back.
Jorginho had Kovacic and Kante around him doing his running. If he take out Partey out that, and obviously you got Xhaka there, Jorginho's going to get eaten
Man's
alive.
done.
in
He's
there.
Doneo at
Fair
the
play,
moment, bro.
fair
He's
play.
Doneo.
Moving it on very, very quickly because I think we've gone over time with this one. Manchester United, if you don't win the FA Cup
Yeah,
and you finish third or fourth,
yeah. Arsenal fans will say, I'd rather have come second and know that
No,
I've pushed
I
City.
think
That's what they say.
that-
That's what they say.
that's what they are saying.
perspective, though.
I'd rather come second and
you know
know
what?
that I've pushed City, so I know that we can be in a conversation.
That jars me. That jars me.
Why-
that
why-
jars
but-
me.
But let me tell you something. You guys are looking at it from a perspective. You don't know what it's like to be an Arsenal fan.
No one cares about losers. Right or wrong? Who cares about the team who comes second next year, the year after that, year after
And
that?
the reason
Now,
why I
don't
say
get me wrong.
reason why I say flex is
on.
down to perspective is
Yeah.
because it depends where you are as a football club. I think Manchester United needed something.
Yeah.
Especially with Ronaldo misbehaving, or everything you've been going through. What's the assistant coach last year? What's his name again?
Mike Phelan.
No, the coach last year, the temporary coach.
Oh, Ralph Rangnick.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Man forgot the name.
awful time at
Yeah.
Manchester United. With Arsenal, first of all, it's been 19 years since we won the league in general. Probably within that time, only once or twice have we actually challenged. The last time we came close to challenging was when Leicester won it. And to be fair,
Wasn't much of a challenge,
exactly. I think for us, our football club needed to know that we can compete at the highest level till near the end of the season.
and that's great.
You know, and I think
agree.
for us,
I
we've got
agree
a bag of FA Cups, man.
I
Do you see
agree
what
with that. Look,
so if
right
you look at
now
the
where
last 10
Arsenal
years,
was-
so that's why I say it's down to perspective. I'm not completely saying you're wrong. In
Yeah,
another
yeah.
season,
No, he is
if this
wrong.
was the same next year,
Yeah.
I would say, nah, I'd rather be third and win the League Cup. But this year, I
Yeah.
say it's better for us to challenge the
My
way.
problem with this.
Do you get where I'm coming from?
I get what you're saying.
My problem with this is Arsenal fans try to control the narrative of how the season's gone. Yeah, I've been saying to you and my friends in my WhatsApp group that are Arsenal fans, you're top of the league. Like you're five. At one point, you were 8-9 points clear, whatever wasn't you?
But
at
they had
some
games
point.
in hand. That's
11.
all.
Right? Yeah, but what I'm saying is, why are you not saying it with your chest?
Who's-
You
I've got
was
a freaking
you
trophy,
was
bruv. What are you
you
talking
was,
about?
You was. I'm talking about others.
Oh, all right.
I'm talking about others. Yeah. Now we're where we are. I'll finish second. It's still a great season because we're challenging. We're challenging.
That's not the- that's-
No, but I'm saying a lot of Arsenal fans are saying. So now you're controlling the narrative of what's happening now. You've said it. You're saying it with your chest. You're not saying it with your chest. You got to be one or the other.
I'll tell you where
You
He's
are.
made his mind up.
You
Tell you
are,
where I stand
but
on it.
others ain't.
I'll tell you where I stand on it. Forget different fans' opinions. I hear you. As a football club, Arsenal, Man United, their ultimate aim is to win a league and be competitive in it.
Yeah.
They're not top four's great, but you want to win the league. You do. When the season finishes, and you look at both the squads and you look at the gap, depending what it'll be, but you would imagine Arsenal going to be closer to City
Then anyone.
than United. So how big's the gap you've got to find? How many players you got to find? How are you going to bridge the gap to get near City? Because they're the benchmark for the last 5 years. Now, if Arsenal are only a few points behind, the gap's smaller and they feel more confident in the group and more belief, and they go, you can entice more players. Like, whoa, what a season! You're moving forward. United have still moved forward, and Eric Ten Hag's done really well.
the gap's big.
Don't get me wrong, but their gap, you're looking, going,
Yeah, it's massive.
how are we bridging now?
Danny,
Hold on,
Danny,
let me
Danny,
finish.
go
This
on,
is
go
the
on,
last
go on,
point.
Because I got one bit. Go on.
This is the last
I haven't
point.
actually answered
No.
the question you actually asked
I'm
at the
gonna
beginning.
hop on the back of what Danny's saying. Go on.
Just the other thing is, generally, even if you forget the table and the points thing, which is relevant, how are you getting on against the other big teams? generally. And how's that table looking? How are we doing against it? And Arsenal have moved massively forward in that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And United have away
Been about the same as
away
Arsenal.
from home not beat anyone.
And this is why.
The gap's bigger.
Yeah.
So I'd rather be Arsenal's season as a player.
And this is why Jose Mourinho, when he finished second with your team, said it was probably his biggest achievement in his career.
All right.
Because of where the club was.
Thank
you very much. Can I close the laptop now?
No, listen
Can
to
I close
this.
it?
No, you can't. Keep it open. Listen to this.
I've got
Listen to
something
this.
to come back with
Listen
as
to
well.
this. Listen to this.
Go on.
So you're talking about the gap, yeah? If anything, what Arsenal showed everybody else this season, where did Arsenal finish last season?
Fifth.
They finished fifth.
Just outside the Champions
They
League.
finished fifth.
So you can bridge
They're
it.
about to finish second. So off of that notion, who would have thought Arsenal could have done what City done this
No
year?
one.
Did you think you'd be in this position?
No.
So if Man United don't finish in the Champions League, which was better than Arsenal did last year, get a trophy or two, which then definitely takes out. Why can Man United, with a better manager now, look what Eric Ten Hag has done.
Because it's the mannerism of some of your games as well. That counts.
You mean why can't he bridge the gap?
Brighton should be in the FA Cup final right now,
let me
mate.
land.
They
Let me
should.
land. Joel, let me land. Because you know I'm going somewhere with this and I know this is going to hurt. Arteta in his first season had a lot of stuff to
Did he
sort
not
out.
win the FA Cup as well?
Arteta in his
Okay,
first
cool.
season had a lot of stuff to sort out. Inherited a far worse squad than Eric Ten Hag did.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that's agreed, yeah.
He inherited Mustafi.
he did, yeah.
Don't let me go back to the crap players you had, yeah? He's done brilliantly.
Well
but
done,
my
Mikel.
point is, off the back of what Danny is saying, is that it's about the gap. Well, actually, if we look at the gap, Arsenal's gap was far bigger to City than Man United is going to be to Man City's. So why on earth, if Man United have got a proper coach off the back of our worst ever Premier League season, got a trophy, maybe two, right? And got good players already, and you add to that, why can't we surpass you and fight with City next season?
You've done well. And the reality is you're going to keep doing well. No one's saying you haven't. But you have to look at the history of our club. We ain't been challenging for nothing.
I'm saying it's cute if you come second.
Yeah, well,
That wording, cute.
Yeah,
Well done.
Say what
You make
want.
a good point about bridging the gap.
We can do it.
You can do
If
it.
Arsenal could do it, Man United could do
But
it.
generally,
We're talking
more
about
often- more
this
often-
season, by the way.
No, but generally, when you finish fifth or fourth, to bridge, it's a steady program. You don't normally make the big step.
yeah.
It can be done, and Arsenal.
And
That's why none of
we're
us
probably going to
expect.
finish third, by the way,
Yeah, probably.
which
But-
is brilliant.
But you
Not far off.
still, as a manager and as a
Still a-
club
still
and
a
as a
big gap
player,
between you
I
and City.
think you look and you think, whoa, we've got a bit to go. Whereas Arsenal be thinking, we
Exactly.
don't need much more. Internally.
You say that, but if Arsenal don't win this year, don't win the
When
league
will
this
they ever?
year,
Yeah.
right? They've been top all season. If they get pipped at the end and they don't win it, the psychological factor of the summer, we know as footballers,
Yeah, could hurt.
when things
here we go.
happen, when things happen to us, no, listen, yeah. When stuff happens, like when I missed the penalty in the FA Cup final against Liverpool, the worst summer of my life. I struggled. It was the worst summer of my life. Yeah, I struggled with it. Arsenal have been top all year. They get pipped at the end of the season to lose the title, the most prestigious league in the world, right? You ain't won it for how long? You ain't competed for how long?
19
19
years.
years.
Yeah?
19.
How long? 19 years. Okay. Well,
Mate, did you ever compete?
wait, listen, let me-
Did you
let me
give me
finish.
that pro
Let me
talk,
finish,
mate?
let me finish,
When was the last
let me
time you
finish.
competed?
Let me finish. Yeah? That psychological battle that you've got next year, if you don't win it, is massive on a young team, by the way.
Or maybe
And
they
by the way-
go from boys to men.
And by the way,
Good group.
and by the way,
Oh, end of the road. Hey! Do you know what, though? Just a caveat to that. Liverpool got done by City, didn't they, last game of the season?
20 minutes it was, last
Bam.
20 minutes of the season.
but it's different.
Next year,
But it's different.
fought back, resilient, went and won it.
But look at the personnel they've got.
True.
Look at, and we're talking about players.
Arsenal
We're
gonna
talking
invest.
about.
Well,
no, wait,
You gotta know we ain't got
I'm
personnel.
talking about in terms of stature and in terms of age and experience.
That comes with winning as well, by the way.
And by the way, yeah, Saliba's tops. But you don't know how tops he is until you see him in his second season. First season's easy, done, no?
Easier, yeah.
It's easier. You make your judgment on players like Saliba in the second season. I'm looking forward to seeing him next year with even more pressure, because the pressure that he's got now is because you lot have lost it because he's not fit. So now the pressure that he's under next year, along with it being his second season, people know how he plays. it's going to be a big season for you guys next year, man.
There's too much debates going on. Not that it's a problem, but I need to catch my train and go to Manchester. Thank you very much for joining us on the Take On. Anton, Danny Murphy, myself, Joel Bayer, and of course Flex. Please make sure you check out our links. They're all in the description. We will be back soon. Signing out. Peace.